This episode of Slams is sponsored by Bailey's in Oak Forest. Bailey's is Oak Forest's neighborhood bar with a friendly atmosphere, great service, and delicious food cooked to order. Catch all of your favorite Chicago teams on 10 big screen TVs while enjoying daily food and drink specials. There's live music every Saturday night. Come out for Sundays for open mic, featuring a variety of some of the best local talent around. Grab some pals and head on over for trivia on Tuesday nights for loads of fun and prizes. Let the good times roll at Bailey's. Welcome to the second episode of Slams, the South Suburb local artist and musician shoutout. Today's episode is Keith Sosmarski. Here's a little bit about Keith. Keith Richard Music, as he goes by, is the solo music project of Keith Sosmarski. Originally from Oak Lawn and growing up around a blend of 70s soft rock and 80s rock and roll combined with the 90s alternative sound of his time. His love for this music has allowed Keith to put together a set that reflects eclectic music tastes across many genres. You'll sway with the palm trees and rock with the mosh pits during a set that has everything to offer, from Jimmy Buffett to Green Day. Truly a show that was created to relax and rock, a complete fusion of several music styles. So I first met Keith at a venue called Dan D. Jack's. They have an open mic on Wednesday nights in Orland Hills, and hosted by Mark. What's up, Mark? If you're watching this. I was right away blown away by his song selection. I mean, as I described, he just had such a gift for choosing songs to put together in even just a brief performance that he did for the open mic. I just loved his song choice. One of his strengths really is picking those songs that like you haven't heard maybe in a while, but you instantly recognize, and you're like, oh man, it's so good to hear this, especially played live. And he holds true to the original sound of a lot of the songs too. He reproduces a lot of the tunes very well. And yeah, it was just a pleasure to watch, and I knew I wanted to meet him, and I knew that he was a performer for sure, that he was made to be playing shows really as much as he could. So you'll see what I mean. I think you'll agree. And without further ado, let's get into our chat with Keith Sosmarski, aka Keith Richard Music.
Then I think about the good times down in the Caribbean sunshine. In my younger days I was so bad, laughing about all the fun we've had. I've seen enough to feel the world spin.
Check, hello. Okay, so, hi Keith.
Hey Zach.
How's it going?
It's going well, thank you for asking. How's it going with you?
Super good. So, I really got to work on an intro. So, this right here is one of my favorite moments in this whole thing, is I get to tell you what this is called because you don't know yet. And I got to do this with our first interviewee as well. This is called the South Suburbs local artist and musician shout out, aka Slams. That's the main reason I did this whole thing, is I get to say that every time.
You should give me a t-shirt. I got slammed with Zach Sonny Edwards.
Yes, awesome. That is an excellent idea. I'm going to get on that immediately after this.
You'll know everyone who partook in it because we'll all have matching shirts. We all got slammed by Zach.
We all got slammed by... I'm going to slam so many people. You have no idea. Oh, my God. That's so good. Basically, just to recap what this is for everyone, this is my chance to interview my local artist friends. You will find out that it's not necessarily just going to be musicians, but it's mostly musicians, if I'm being honest. It's mostly just an excuse for me to talk to my friends and chat with local folks, especially people who I have just convinced to be my friends and come over and hang out with me, really. This is just a big old excuse to hang out and chat. So
here on business only, buddy.
Yep. I'm paying Keith. We have a contract.
It's a ridiculous amount.
Yeah. So I have a few questions for you. My first question, Keith, is where was the first place you ever performed?
The first place I ever performed, like a public venue or like Because I can go back like all the way to some talent shows when I was like in 3rd or 4th grade.
Let's start there. Talent show for sure.
I got my first electric guitar. I was like in 4th grade, and everyone got like a minute to do something, and I played guitar. I played American Idiot by Green Day because that was like one of the first songs I learned, and they cut me after like 40 seconds when it was supposed to be like everyone was supposed to get a minute. But
oh my god,
yeah, they heard like 30 seconds into that first verse, and they had enough. So
that's had they ever heard that song before? Do you think, or did they already know and they were like, we can't let him?
Yeah, I mean, I used the clean version because it was a Catholic school, so I had to use the clean version, and I was also in 4th grade. But it does leave a lot to the imagination, especially that song in particular. So they gave me the hook after about 40 seconds. So
man, started out already as a rebel, a rock and roll star. That's very punk rock of you. That's very cool.
I could think of no more fitting way, actually. And you said it like that. Yeah, that's funny that it started that way.
That is phenomenal. We'll count that as your real first breakthrough. But then I will ask. Now, I don't even know if you've told me before. Have you played any like quote official gigs at this point? Or?
Not since I've been a solo act, and I've really only been at it solo-y since pretty much summer, like June of 2018 was when I started playing solo. I kind of got a little resurgence. Cool. And then I actually didn't start playing around the neighborhood until last September. So it's going to be a year this September.
Nice.
I've just been bouncing around open mics. But I do have a booked date that's coming up, but haven't announced that yet. But it is coming up soon, so that's exciting.
Sweet. Okay. So there'll be something to look forward to for sure after this
Definitely
airs.
Follow up after this airs.
Awesome. Very cool. So in that case, do you remember the first open mic you've ever played at?
Yeah, again, as a solo artist, what I'm doing right now, it was Clancy's here in Oak Lawn on 95th Street.
Wow. So, okay, so that's like kind of a special spot for you then.
Yeah, I know. I met the dudes who ran it a couple of times. I was over at their other location and hanging out, and we're drinking. And there's
on 103rd.
Yeah, on
right?
103rd and Cicero. You know, we're hanging out late at the bar, and I start saying, well, you know, I play music too. And they're like, well, then come out. If you play, you'll come out. And they did it to me a few times. And finally, I decided to come out after a little bit of pressure.
Awesome.
Never had like any stage fright or worried about playing in front of people. It was just different playing by myself. It had a different, it wasn't like playing with a band. It's definitely a whole different thing. So I didn't think I was ready for that. So
interesting. Now, first of all, I agree. Like there's, you think that you've performed in one way and you think you've done it all until you've tried like a different setup. Like I am still afraid of karaoke. Karaoke like gets me, and I don't know why. I think it's because I don't have any instruments to like hide behind.
Absolutely.
Like I'm not like doing anything other than just singing into a microphone, and I love the thrill. Like I enjoy karaoke for that reason, but it still freaks me out way more than like a live show for some reason. So
I feel that I went through a period where I was like making and creating EDM, and I was actually got pretty good at it. It was kind of the scene that kind of chased me away from it more than it was the music.
Oh yeah.
And then it came time where I would DJ some parties and stuff, and I was terrible doing it live because I didn't have like a guitar to hide behind. Like you said, I'm like, I need an instrument. And even though I'm confident in the music I made, but when it came time to do that with the set, I'm like, oh, everybody's looking at me. I'm trying to twist knobs and I got nothing going on, you know?
Yeah, that's so interesting. I think with an instrument, I've thought about this before, but I don't think I've said it out loud, that like when you're playing a song on an instrument, you can like demonstrate the energy of the song on that instrument a little more. Like there's more of a visual representation, whereas like I'm certainly not downplaying EDM or anything. I actually love that type of music. I'm just not skilled at it myself. The thing about that is you can, like, if you're going hard on the guitar, you can like really like strum hard or like move around with it, whereas if you're turning a knob, it's hard to like more dramatically turn
That's
a
the
knob.
thing. I guess if like you're a real professional, like some of those dudes like Deadmau5 or Excision, you can maybe get some juice from your own like bass lines. With me, when you're playing guitar, like you're hitting that thing and the guitar's vibrating back against you, kind of feel it. It's all, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I never got that as like a DJ. When I tried that, I felt very strange to be doing that. I felt like maybe
Yes.
there's nothing wrong with the set, but it felt like something was certainly wrong while I was performing it.
Well, yeah, I think it's a matter of like the music. It's hard to translate that music into where you are in that present moment. Whereas once again with the guitar, or like, that's one reason I love drums. It's my first instrument. It's almost impossible to not like physically demonstrate the rhythm, because you have to move around to hit those drums and cymbals and stuff, like you can match that energy with what you're doing with the music itself. And it's harder if it's on like, a DJ board, or to a degree. I mean, I know people who scratch who can do things like that, and that's a little easier as well.
Yeah,
But
that's really physical when you're scratching, and so I could see really getting into that. I was never good at it, but
I always wanted to like try, but oh man. So that's cool. I didn't know you did EDM stuff. Do you have like a spot that you've collected it that people can go to?
you know what? I have a deactivated SoundCloud, so no, I
Okay.
don't have anything. But it is funny because once in a while I go back to it. I'm like, oh man, like I actually had a little discography going. I had some progress made. I kind of backed away from the whole thing after a while. It was just,
Yeah.
I don't want to call it a phase. It was more like kind of a, I don't know. The scene got weird. I'm not trashing the scene. It wasn't particularly my crowd, and so it kind of felt like I was the outlier when I would go to those places. So
Yeah, fair enough.
faded back where I'm comfortable with the guitar.
I think that's another thing, is in your like chosen profession or whatever, like you want to feel somewhat comfortable in it to a degree. Like there's a lot of things that kind of have to align, I think, and if it's something just doesn't vibe, then
I think
why?
you'll agree, even if you're having a bad show or a bad song, a bad set, you're still fairly comfortable, even if you're having a bad
Sure.
song or you mess something up, because you're definitely good at what you do and you're a good guitarist, so you can appreciate that. It's like, yeah, even having a bad day it's still pretty comfortable. It might be a bad moment, but it's still a comfortable thing.
Right, I agree. That's all anything, like any skill is, like just trying stuff and like being willing to not be good at it at first is
So much trial and error. You
Yeah.
mentioned earlier with YouTube, I don't think I learned a thing about EDM on my own. It all came from YouTube tutorials. I was paying
That's
for
cool.
some of them. I was you know what I mean? I'd be
sure.
skipping homework in high school to stay up late and look at Massive on Ableton Live, and you know what I
That's cool.
mean?
That's super
Dialing
cool.
in sounds. It was
Man, there's a lot of stuff music related. I used to draw comics too, and that was something I also would forego schoolwork to do, unfortunately.
It's interesting that people like you and me have so many auxiliary things we do besides the one main thing we do. You know
Yep.
what I mean? You could get like 5 of us in a room and probably we'd cover the whole
Yep.
spectrum.
The whole spectrum of like arts and media and stuff. So you mentioned solo stuff, but you've been in bands before.
Yeah, I had a band going back in high school, and we did a lot of like alternative
Okay.
90s, a lot of Green Day, a lot of Nirvana,
Cool.
AFI,
Okay,
stuff
yeah.
like that, and played a couple of shows. It was not meant to be. Everyone was very talented individually, but together it just did not work.
Man, yeah, that's what I mean about so many things have to come together with music, with certain like scenes in general, and in a band, if you're really trying to like make it, whatever that means, or just like do it seriously, then you all are gonna be ideally friends, business partners, sometimes like roommates, even, especially if you like end up touring together
Oh,
or
man.
spending a lot of time.
Busmates if you're touring together.
Yeah, like some sort of like proximity mates or whatever, and like a lot of things have to gel, and there's some things you can't like force with people, you know what I mean? And like I am a huge advocate of like honesty and communication can fix anything, but it's just not easy to do. Like it's not always easy to do that stuff, and it's not always like
Yeah, I think that's where it was. And it was like, everybody that was in the band was really talented, and we just didn't sound good together. I think nobody pulled us aside and said, "Listen, this isn't working. You need to, to maybe retry your approach at things." And so we just kind of figured it wasn't working, so we just hit the stop button on it, and
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that's another funny thing about bands in particular, is the parts coming together to make the sound is really like what matters, and not to say like talent doesn't matter in each individual, but it's like, what does the mix of that look like? It's kind of like if you combine a bunch of colors, it might just end up like a poopy brown.
Yeah,
you
like
know
a
what I
brown.
mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
a dark shade of gray.
yeah, exactly. It depends like how the combination goes, and I mean, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes things just don't mix well, even if like an individual's super talented. So it's it's whatever.
It was exhilarating when I was like 15 or 16. I thought I was hot stuff doing that, and like I'm sitting in chemistry class, like writing my angsty, angry lyrics, and my instructor would be like, "Give me that." And I'm like, "I'm not giving him my song lyrics." I'd rip something else out of the notebook and be like, "Here, fine, take it." You know what I mean? But I'd be like, so I felt like I was really, ego inflated for somebody who was very lost in my musical career. My ego was too inflated at that time. I thought I was, I was 16. I had to learn some lessons the hard way. So
yeah, I was gonna say, like, another thing is a lot of artists find their passion or a passion pretty young, and I mean, biologically, like, we're not even people yet. You know what I mean? The average brain, I mean, it varies between men and women, but the brain doesn't stop its major development until like 25 on average or something. So I mean, you're not like
still growing and changing. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously that's just one factor, like different life events and things. So I don't know, you're still figuring yourself out and life out. And so it's not just like who you are in that moment. And it's, it doesn't even have to be anyone's like fault per se, but yeah, I mean, we're all on this.
A good way to sum it up. I think that's been better words than I could put it.
Well, I don't know. We're all just on this, not to be, like a shot. I feel like Raj and I got to a conversation like this too, but we're all just kind of on a journey, and like that's just what life is. We just got to do our best to keep going.
He's an interesting one too, and that's part of the reason why I love Raj, is that he also came from like the heavy alternative metal bands, and every time I talk to him, it tells me a little bit more about that era, which I love. Mm-hmm. And it's like now he's like Mr. Solo artist, one man band, reggae star. He's just great at everything, and he really seems like he pulled together like his best of both worlds, his reggae and his alternative.
Yeah,
and he's like a finished product kind of. I like that about him.
Yes, 100%. And that's another reason that I'm a huge advocate of the idea of just like keep moving and like trying to figure yourself out and find what works for you, because you never know what the end result is going to be that you're truly happy with once you keep like trying to get there. So I never thought I'd do anything other than drums, to be honest, but now I do like singing and guitar and like also like all at once. So you never know. Like
your live show's pretty cool too. You've got that stuff dialed. I mean,
thank you. It cool looks sound. A lot more under control than it is. Not always. Sometimes like certain things are well rehearsed, but some things I'm still kind of like by the seat of my pants, But anyway, definitely enough about me. So I like to with these have a sort of off-kilter question, and my question I've chosen for you, Keith, is if you could be any animal for 24 hours, but keep in mind it is a full 24 hours, what animal would you be and why?
I don't know. I'd be like some sort of probably like some sort of tropical bird where I could just hang out in palm trees and stuff down by the ocean. I think a lot of people like to be like a lion or a cheetah. They want to like run real fast. I don't want any of that. I just want to chill. I just want to,
That's really smart though, because a lot of the animals I think of are like certain ones, but are not so high in the food chain or like would end up like maybe in some altercation or whatever, but a tropical bird, like the weather's gonna be awesome and they don't have anything to worry about.
You fly
They're
to a
just hanging
palm
out.
tree. If there's a predator, bro, you get up in the palm tree. You're good
That's
to go.
so cute. That's really
Spend
smart.
your days knocking down coconuts, bro. Because think about it. If you're a lion, man, you said 24 hours. You're going to spend at least 10 hours of that chasing and eating stuff, right? I mean, it's parts...
Like some of it's gonna
Animal
be hunting
Kingdom,
and
baby. That's how it goes.
God, that's so true and so smart. See, my go-tos, it's either a frog. I love frogs. Anyone who's friends with me on Facebook knows that. But frogs, like they have a lot of dangers that they would have to deal with in a day. And my other answer is usually birds. A bird, because I just want to like fly for a day. But like, I don't want to have to bother to hunt for stuff or whatever, or be afraid of other birds. Like a tropical bird is such a good. That might be.
Chill, bro. You can be colorful too.
Yeah,
that's great, bro.
People, you fly up to someone, they'd be like, "Hey."
I would sit on somebody's shoulder, and it would be fine, man. It would be a whole thing. It'd be a great 24 hours. I might even stay a week if you extended the offer.
Oh my God, that's such a good. That might be my answer now. That's really good. A tropical bird.
I know there's other ones besides parrots, so I didn't want to just solo and parrot, but something in that family where I could live down there in that climate. Yeah, I'd be a happy man. What else do you need in life?
That's so smart. Cool. So that's pretty much like it for now. We're gonna do the third segment, which is us jamming on a song. The one thing that I make everyone do. If they agree to be on this, is to let me play cajon for them with them for a song. So we're going to cut right now to that.
About the good times down in the Caribbean sunshine. In my younger days I was so bad, laughing about all the fun we've had. I've seen enough to feel the world spin, mixing different notions, meeting cousins. Listen to the drummers and the night sound, listen to the singers make the world go round. Te hana tura, mena roha, te
is there like social media or any events or even just something to like tell us to look out for maybe?
Yeah, my Facebook is under Zachary Sonny Edwards, so I want you to look at that and give it lots of good comments. No, you can find me on Facebook under Keith Richard Music. Just like the Rolling Stones guy, Keith Richard Music.
Wow. You're
Yeah.
Keith Richards?
Sure am.
I've heard all your stuff.
And you know what? You can tell your friends that the value of this building went up because Keith Richard was in it.
I will tell my friends.
If you want me to use your bathroom before I go,
please
tell them Keith Richard used this bathroom. So yeah, under Keith Richard Music, I've got some bookings and some shows that are coming up, and by the time people see this, those will be out. And I'm shooting actually to work on an EP that I think is probably going to be kind of complete near September, October. So stick around for that. There'll be plenty of island jams and feel-good favorites there. So.
Oh, that's good. Excellent. Thank you, Keith. Keith Richards.
Thanks for inviting me, Zach. It was great. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll see you guys next time on the next session of Slams.
Getting slammed!
Get slammed.
Get
Okay,
slammed.
bye.